Yeah, hi there. These comments are for HA, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And thank you for completing independent writing practice test number 28. So I just read your essay, and this is pretty difficult, I'm going to be honest with you. So your organization is a little bit unusual. It doesn't follow the logical pattern of organization, what we call general to more specific type organization. In the beginning, for example, there will be a large crowd of people come to the theater with the issuance of any new film. You're starting off pretty quickly with some specific details, but generally, when you're doing academic writing with the introduction, you want to start off making more general statements about the topic. That's what you want to do first. So then once you get down to the thesis here, this is when you get more specific. But because you're already specific in the beginning of the paragraph, it's hard to see exactly what your focus is, right? And then when you move to your body paragraphs, this was highly unusual. So your first paragraph is, let's take a look. We have the first paragraph is 139 words. And then your second paragraph is 43 words. Your third paragraph is 34 words, and then when you get to the conclusion, remember the purpose of the conclusion is to restate the key points that you've discussed in your body paragraphs. And here we have 156 words, so highly unusual. Typically that's probably not what you want to do for academic writing. So my recommendation is the second and third paragraphs, these two paragraphs need to be about 100 words apiece. And you can keep this one between 50 and 100. And then the last paragraph, you can keep that to about 50 to 100 words. And then maybe if you want, you can add a third reason of why you do not want a movie theater built near your neighborhood, right? So the other thing is I want to go through and make some corrections in one of your paragraphs so you can see what kinds of issues are coming up in your writing. With this first sentence, you say, theater is what the movies and stories displays, and people come to enjoy watching it. But if you say movies and stories, you probably want to say them, but even the way you wrote that, I probably wouldn't even say it this way. I would probably say people you might say something like this: entertained by the stories they tell. Something along those lines. So people enjoy watching movies because they're entertained by the stories they tell. And all of these ideas here, to be honest with you, they're too specific. So you have to actually change how you're bringing up these ideas. So let's see if we can figure out a better way to create this introduction. And we have to go back to the question, so do you want a movie theater built near your neighborhood? So you might start off talking about neighborhoods. You might say, You might say something. So after coming home from work, people like to relax in their neighborhoods by watching television, you might say. Swimming in their pools. And by going on long walks with their families, you might say. Parks. And play soccer. You see what I'm doing? I'm making some general statements first, and then I'm going to lead this into movie theaters, right? So after coming home from work, people like to relax in their neighborhoods by watching television, swimming in their pools, and by going on walks with their families. Nearby, they can enjoy parks where they can fly kites and play soccer. So now we're going to take your idea here. So we have nearby they can enjoy parks where they can fly kites and play soccer. Then I have to tie this to the previous sentence. I can say in search of more entertainment options, many residents enjoy watching movies because they are entertained by the stories they tell. However, should these movie be located close to neighborhoods? Then we'll have a counter argument. How about that? Then we'll say something like this. So we have, although people enjoy watching movies, perhaps we can put here, one of the most favorite cultural pastimes in many cultures, I will oppose, or just say I oppose, I guess. I oppose the building of a movie theater near my neighborhood. So now, all of this information here, it was just too specific. It's probably better start out with some general ideas about the topic first. Notice how I just talked about neighborhoods in general. I even talked about parks and kites and soccer. And then I made the transition that connects better to the topic. I said, in search of more entertainment options, many residents enjoy watching movies because they're entertained by the stories they tell. However, should these movie theaters be located close to neighborhoods? And that now is the hook. And that now moves us to the thesis. Although people enjoy watching movies, perhaps one of the most favorite cultural pastimes in many cultures, okay, so now we have to get to your thesis, right? So let me get rid of all this. You might say because of the how the increase in traffic, I'm going to put here congestion is a better word. The increase in traffic congestion, so then you say the parking area should be large. I look at these as the same thing. You say, as traffic increases, so the parking area should be large and wide for cars to park, so nearby people would get difficulty in parking their vehicles. This increases disputes and clashes. So I oppose the building of a movie theater near my neighborhood because the increase in traffic congestion. Or how about this? The limited number of parking spaces that would be available to nearby residents I think we got it. Okay, so obviously now you have to restate these points here in these body paragraphs, right? So let's take a look at what we did. So what I did is I tried to restructure your introduction so it works more like an upside down triangle. You start off making some general statements that don't even directly connect to the topic. Did you notice that? So the question is, do you want a movie theater built near your neighborhood? In the beginning of my introduction, I just talked about neighborhoods generally and what people like to do when they go home. And then I made the transition to in search of more entertainment options and so on, right? So let's take a look at what we've done. So although after coming home from work, people like to relax in their neighborhoods by watching television, by swimming in their pools, and by going on walks with their families. Nearby, they can enjoy parks where they can fly kites and play soccer. In search of more entertainment options, many residents enjoy watching movies because they're entertained by the stories they tell. However, should these movie theaters be located close to neighborhoods? And then I present my counter-argument, which is the opposite of what you like. Although people enjoy watching movies, perhaps one of the most favorite cultural pastimes in many cultures, I oppose the building of a movie theater near my neighborhood because of the increase in traffic congestion, the limited number of parking spaces that would be available to nearby residents, and the noise that will result from moviegoers coming to and leaving the cinema. So that's my suggestion there. That's what you could do I think, in the introduction that would give your introduction a little bit clearer, more focused organization. And then you spend time developing these different paragraphs. And when you get to the end here, in the conclusion, you want to be just very brief. You don't have to say everything that you said here. So you basically just need to restate the key points of your essay, and then you're done. So now the question is, what is your score and why? Okay, so let's take a look. So with this one, you have a lot of problems here. So I'm going to say inadequate organization and connection of ideas. This is one major problem with your essay. The way that you structured the introduction and then the very short body paragraphs and that really long detailed conclusion, that did not really help your writing at all. So that's a big problem. The other problem is you had a lot of errors in sentence structure and or usage, a lot. If I corrected your entire essay, it'd probably take me an hour and a half just to make all the corrections. And I'd have to add a lot of information to body paragraph 2 and 3, so those ideas are more fully developed. And you saw the changes I made with your introduction, right? So on this one, I'm going to put you at 2.0 out of 4, out of 5 actually, or 14 points out of 30. You might even score lower than this on the actual TOEFL exam. Now, if we go into the syllabus, we have to take a look at what this means. So in the syllabus on page 7, so we now have to convert your score into a percentage for our class. So 2.0 is going to put you at 64% on this particular assignment. So what do you do? My suggestion is I would suggest if you go to my website here, let me actually go ahead and click on it right now. So I'm going to show you some things that you can work on right now. It's going to take some work. Your problems are not easily solved. You're going to have to really think about the academic writing process and how you structure ideas and what manner and how to make things a little more effective. So I'd recommend right now, take a look at my writing lesson number 2, number 3, and number 4. I think these are very, very important. You've already seen this lesson, but you should review it again. Lesson 8.1, review of how to make your writing more coherent. I think that's a good lesson for you to focus on right now. But that's not enough. You got a lot of problems in a lot of areas. So let's go to grammar for a second. You have a lot of sentence structure type errors. So my recommendation first here is to take the grammar diagnostic pretest. This is something you just have to do in your time. You can take the pretest, and then once you get it scored, then you can see exactly which areas of the grammar course that you need to focus on the most. For example, this month, we've had 112 students who have taken this pretest. They know that the pretest is very important, and it's going to help them improve their writing and their speaking skills for that matter. Alright, so I would recommend you do that. Once you do the pretest, then you can look over your answers and see which lessons you need to focus on the most. Okay, so anyway, thank you for completing the writing assignment. And before you do the final exam, now I'm going to give you a suggestion, it's not a requirement, but I recommend that you take maybe 3 or 4 independent writing practice tests between now and the final exam so you can continue to make some adjustments in how you organize and develop your ideas, and then you can get feedback from my teaching assistant who will give you a score, and then hopefully when you take the final exam you'll be a little bit better prepared for that particular test. Alright, anyway, thank you for completing the assignment, and I look forward to reading your next essay.